It's Friday night. I think we're live, man. Bruce Pritchard stealing my ideas again. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, Bruce. Kevin Owens seems to be the next in line for Roman Reigns and the Universal Championship. Who came up with that idea? The Street Profits go into Survivor Series, defeat the New Day, only to lose the following Friday against two losers. What a way to solidify their title reign, huh, Bruce? And Rey Mysterio ends his feud with Seth Rollins. And then he begins a feud with Baron Corbin. I don't know who on earth thinks that's good television, but my God, man, what are we doing on Friday night? I'll tell you what you're doing on Friday night, man. You're watching the #1 podcast in the entire community. You don't need anybody else on your Friday night. You got me. This is your SmackDown review right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your SmackDown post show right here for November 27th, 2020. MJF apparently is reviewing podcasts in the community. Salrex brought this to my attention tonight. And apparently he's reviewing podcasts in the community. Now, I don't know whether they are just Wednesday night podcasts talking about AEW, being that he is one of AEW's biggest stars, or if it's just podcasts in general. Video podcasts, podcast audio-wise, people in the community in general. I don't know what his criteria is. But I would love to know what MJF thinks about what we do here on Off the Script, man. If there was pros and cons He'd probably say I'm a massive fucking mark. I'm an angry fucking mark, number one. I know him already because he's already come up to me at a House of Glory show and gave me the finger, which I absolutely loved because I criticized his match at All In, the first All In. That was right before he went into the Elks Lodge here in Queens, and he wrestled Cashflow Ken Broadway at a House of Glory show. But if he's reviewing the show, he would probably say, JD knows his shit. He's a big MJF guy. That's a big positive. You know, he's the biggest MJF fan that there is, or one of the biggest MJF supporters in the community, so that's plus points for me, right? Or brownie points for him. Then there's no way he can look at the intro and not be hyped for a show, man. Really. You got Pilot playing. You got the guitar solo going, man. Who doesn't like that? Who doesn't get hyped with that, man? Really? So I'd be curious to know if he actually comes across the show one week. And I mean, there really is no other show on Wednesday nights that you should be watching, man. The one thing I will say, I don't like going 2 hours, but 2 hours is like the norm for these shows because we're live. I know he'll say something along the lines of, listen, why are you 2 hours? You don't have a TV deal with TNT. Why the fuck are you 2 hours? I mean, you know, you guys are here. The majority of you stay for the show, which is why I am grateful to you. But I would be curious to know what he thinks of the way we handle things and the way we break things down on Off the Script, man. So it'll be curious to see what he does and if he does come across the show on Wednesday night. We already had Thunder Rosa watching the show. Why not? Why not, man? Let's add MJF to the list. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast tonight. What a terrible show this was. Holy shit. Holy shit, man. I was very close to coming on here and instead of saying, are we alive? Are we barely alive? But this isn't Monday Night Raw, but it is just as bad as Monday Night Raw. What exactly happened on this show? What exactly happened on this show that I should give a shit about? It is unbelievable. It is mind-boggling to me, and I was thinking about this while watching the show tonight. I really was. I was making sure Hoot Media was available tonight to do mods in the chat, and Hoot Media is here. And I reached out to Hoot Media, and I'm like, man, I don't really want to do this show tonight. I don't really want to do the show. I don't want to sit here and talk wrestling. I am absolutely wrestled out for the week. I recorded a 2.5 hour off the script episode for tomorrow. Glorious. It is absolutely glorious, man. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Some really, really solid segments on Off the Script tomorrow afternoon, man. You're going to love it. So I reached out to media. I'm like, is it me? Or is SmackDown only using 15% of their active roster? Why does it seem that SmackDown is rinsing and repeating talent every single week? We don't see anybody new on the show. Otis is there from time to time. Roman, Jay, Daniel Bryan's back, Rey Mysterio, Buddy Murphy, right? Kevin Owens, the Street Profits. Who else did they draft on SmackDown? Bianca's been there. Bayley's been there. I feel like SmackDown is just using the same stars in the same segments over and over and over again. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we got another Kevin Owens and Jey Uso match tonight in the main event. We seen this weeks ago. And then Jey Uso became the captain of Survivor Series. And then Jey Uso battled Daniel Bryan. Jey Uso beat Daniel Bryan. Then they have the Daniel Bryan rematch. And now we're back to Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. Didn't this happen legitimately like a month ago? I don't know exactly when. Somebody find out for me. But didn't that match happen about a month ago on SmackDown? And we're doing it again? Seth Rollins is no more until the Royal Rumble, at least, because Becky Lynch is pregnant. God bless both of them. But we move on from Murphy and Seth Rollins to Murphy and Baron Corbin, with Baron Corbin feuding with the Mysterio family. I don't know who thinks that's good television, but what a complete ass-backwards way to move on from another feud that nobody gave a fuck about to go into a feud that nobody will give a fuck about. Because who gives a shit about Baron Corbin? Nobody. Roman Reigns continues to be the best thing on WWE television, and quite honestly and quite frankly, Roman Reigns, after his segment, there really is no reason for you to watch this show. There really is no reason for you to watch this show. Sasha Banks is continuing her feud with Carmela. We finally got Sasha getting our hands on Carmela tonight. Bianca Belair seems to be headed for a collision course with Bayley, which is, take my money, worthy. And the Street Profits, man. The Street Profits, they beat the New Day at the Survivor Series in probably the biggest win of their lives, only to come back on Friday and lose to the team of Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Clean. Now, I don't know who in WWE Creative thought that was a good idea. Oh my God, man. But are you fucking serious? I'm looking directly at you, Bruce. Are you fucking serious, slob? Huh? What a joke. What a joke. We're going to go over why that fucking sucked. On top of Daniel Bryan, I got fucking cat hair flying everywhere, man. My cats love to jump on the fucking desk. I know, it's gorgeous. You should see it. Cat hair everywhere, man. Also, Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan, Intercontinental Championship seems to be the thing for those two guys, but Big E. Big E seems to be throwing his name into the IC title hunt. So we'll go over that as well. Everything you need to know, plus your SmackDown news and rumors, right here on the SmackDown post show for Off the Script, man. Let's check the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining me here live. We got 1,100 in the chat. Super chats are open. Make sure you guys go and get your super chats in. We will hang out at the end of the show. So thank you guys so very much for getting in those early super chats. You are always appreciated. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, man. If you guys want the very best in the IWC, there is no other place you need to be other than right here on the podcast, on Off the Script. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We are live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Raw, unfortunately. AEW, unbelievable. And then SmackDown tonight, unfortunately. So we are live, and then every pay-per-view as well. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you want to be a part of the OTS family. Hit that thumbs up, man. We got 304 thumbs up on the channel right now on the live stream. Let's try for a goal of 750 for tonight's live stream, man. That is on you guys. I got two major announcements, man. Three major announcements before we do anything on tonight's show, man. I have completely rebranded the Patreon page. Now, I wanted it to be something that you guys could really get a lot of fulfillment out of, okay? And I don't really push the Patreon page because it's there if you guys want it. But it's been such a great year for the podcast that I wanted to give back to you guys in a very special way, with obviously more stuff to be added as the months go on. I'm always thinking of things. My team is always thinking of things. And we came up with a great concept. We got 2 tiers right now on the Patreon page. If you guys go to patreon.com/JD from NY206, you will see that there's 2 tiers. A $10 tier and a $20 tier, okay? Now, there's a mid-card tier, which is the 10, and a main event elite tier, which is 20. I am putting in tier 1 a brand new t-shirt that hopefully Salrex, one of these days, gets me a decent design. I got to go over with him what I want. But I want to give you guys an exclusive Are We Live t-shirt. You know, the thing with the Are We Live thing is I never really expected it to take off. It was one of those things that I just yelled because I was always afraid to go live on YouTube. I was never really the live stream type of guy. Everybody was doing the live streams, and then I asked myself, why am I not doing them? It's so much easier as far as work goes. I go live, and I'm done. Instead of me sitting here and recording, editing, making the sound right, uploading, and then I get uploaded at like 1 p.m., I could be done by 11:30, 12 o'clock on most nights. So I want to give you guys an exclusive Are We Live t-shirt. That's in Tier 1. In Tier 2, you guys are going to get everything in Tier 1, and then you guys are going to get the off-the-script baseball mugs right here. The off-the-script baseball mugs, I have an entire box sitting right in the corner of my room here, okay? These things are fucking awesome. And I wanted to do something for you guys that nobody has done yet. This is probably the only podcast that has these type of things in the wrestling community. And Hoop Media and my management team, we've gotten together and we've come up with this concept. The only way you guys can get one of these is by signing up annually for the Patreon page. If you sign up for $20 a month, you will not get a mug. You have to sign up annually, meaning you go to the page, you see the option to sign up annually, and not only will you get everything in Tier 1, but you're going to get everything in Tier 2 as well. So if you guys want this, you have to sign up annually. And I guarantee you, everybody that signs up annually for the Tier 2 off-the-script Patreon tier, the main event tier, you will be getting this before Christmas. So if you guys want this, that's what you have to do. I've had people sign up $10 a month, $20 a month, and I'm asking you guys, why did you do that? I put it right in the description. You got to sign up annually. These things are not cheap. To get these things made, they were not cheap. Okay? This is going to last you a lifetime. This is something that nobody else has done. So if you want to support the show, that's how you do that, man. Secondly, Mouthmasker is having a Black Friday sale. 50% off all off-the-script masks. So if you guys have waited and contemplated to get a mask, now is the time to do it. Normally they're $20. Now they're just $10. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go and get your black masks. If you watch the network news in your local city or town, you see all the fear-mongering happening, you're going to need a fucking mask. Because according to them, it's going to be fucking the apocalyptic end of days doomsday with COVID-19. Go and get your masks. Mouthmasker.com. 50% off the script mask. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. And finally, and then we'll move on. Finally, I am doing a giveaway right now on Instagram. If you guys go to my Instagram page, at JD from NY206, you will see my latest post. We are being sponsored by Anson Belt and Buckles. Now, if you go to my latest post and you like the post, number one. Number two, you got to go and follow Anson Belts on Instagram. Number three, you got to leave me in the Instagram post, in the comment section, a reason why you think you should win this giveaway. Why you need the belts. Come up with something creative. Come up with something heartfelt. Come up with something genuine. I will choose one winner, random, and I will announce them on Instagram on Monday during Raw. This is a $200 belt giveaway. You're getting 3 custom belts and 3 belt buckles on me and on Anson Belts. So make sure you guys go and do that if you want to win some free shit. Go to the Patreon page, sign up annually to get yourself an off-the-script baseball mug and a t-shirt. And mouthmasker.com/OTS, 50% off masks. Thank you guys so very much, man. I am trying to give back the best way that I can this holiday season. Gonna be a good holiday season, man. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. Links are down below. And today's show is sponsored by my good friends over at Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys sign up for Audible. 30 days free and 1 free audiobook of your choice if you sign up using our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. I'm watching SmackDown tonight, and come 9:30, I get that sense that this show was written in the late hours of the afternoon. So clearly I'm browsing social media during the show because it's more interesting than actually watching the show. And I come across this gem, which is not really all that surprising. This is a report from WrestlingNews.co. Things were a mess backstage at SmackDown. Dave Meltzer reported today that things were a mess backstage and the show was still being written as of late in the afternoon. This explains why they did not announce anything on WWE.com and the preview of the show. Now, normally, I try and get the podcast all set up for... Actually, you know what? I don't even have my iPad. Where's my fucking iPad? I'm looking around where the fuck my iPad is, because I got my notes, and I don't even have my iPad up. What a great way to be prepared, JD. What a great way to be prepared. I'm looking at this on SmackDown tonight, and then I come across this story as of a few hours ago. And this is not a surprise to me at all. It's becoming a weekly thing. And I look at WWE.com because I want to see what's actually happening on the show. And I set up the podcast, or I at least try to set up the podcast and get the live stream out so it's in your sub boxes so you guys are notified that I'll be live after the show. And in the description, I like to put what's happening on the show. I go to WWE.com today and I see absolutely nothing about the show. Absolutely nothing about the show. And I know from that point on that we're not getting a show that's prepared, a show that's written, or a show that's going to be good. And I know it's going to be a last-minute thing about SmackDown. So when I seen this report, I'm like, I just had a feeling that was the case tonight. Watching the show going into 9:30, towards the end of the show, I just felt like it was a show that was not readily prepared like it should be. Now, WWE did not give away anything on the show. This is not uncommon these days. It was noted that Vince McMahon arrived at the arena at 12:30 p.m. Another person said that people did not know anything about tonight's show until McMahon arrived. It was also noted that this has been the case every single week as of late. I would love for somebody to tweet this story to Fox, WWE on Fox and their Twitter account. I would have done it myself, but what good is it going to do? Many times, there have been stories written about creative plans for Raw and SmackDown, only for those plans to get changed. In many instances, the writing team has a script completed, only to have McMahon arrive, rip it up, and rewrite the show from the ground up. It seems as if these problems are happening more frequently on SmackDown than at Raw these days, says the report. I don't really understand why this is a thing. I really don't understand this. First of all, you're Vince McMahon. It all starts with you. If Vince McMahon is getting there at 1 o'clock when everybody should be there early in the morning to start prepping for the show, and you're getting there late every single week, what does that say as a leader of this roster? It means that you don't even give a shit about the show. If you're Vince McMahon, you should be the first man in the fucking building. You should be the guy walking in the building, turning the fucking lights on with the janitor. You should be the only one there in the morning, and then everybody else arrives after you. Number one. That's the way I was always built. That was the way I was always taught. I worked in places where the director of the store was in there at 6 a.m. They didn't even open till 8. You weren't asked to be there until 8. Clock in at 8, get the showroom floor ready, and then open by 9. Yet Vince McMahon's getting there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then nobody knows what's on the show until Vince McMahon arrives. Why is that the case? Is Vince McMahon writing these shows and specifically and explicitly told you not to write the show because he's writing the show? What is he paying people for to be on the writing staff if he's not going to use any of the writing staff's ideas? Why are you paying these people only for you to do their job? If you're writing the show, why are you paying 40 guys to write your show? That's 40 salaries that you could give to somebody else. That's 40 salaries that you could save and put into the company back pocket. But Vince McMahon is paying these people to do what? Exactly. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. This is an every week thing. And it all starts with Vince McMahon. And this is why nothing will change. I wonder if Fox knows about these abhorrent behaviors by Vince McMahon. He doesn't give a shit. He's getting a 2.1, 2.2 rating on Friday night. He's okay with that. But the thing is, do you know how detrimental Vince McMahon is? And his attitude? How detrimental that is, his behavior? How detrimental that is to the SmackDown and Raw product? How could you get excited about the show if you don't know what's actually happening on the show? If WWE had a brain and Bruce had a vision, and Bruce and Vince collectively came up with a vision for the show, you would think that maybe we should start long-term booking. Get something out there, right? And announce something that's happening 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. Get people excited about watching the show. Instead, every single week you go to .com and you don't see anything about what's happening on the show. How could you expect ratings to go up? How could you expect interest in the show to go up when people don't know what's actually happening on the show? If you were given something of a notice 3 weeks in advance, hey, Roman Reigns is wrestling on SmackDown. He will be defending the Universal title against so-and-so on the show. Or Kevin Owens will be challenging Roman Reigns on SmackDown. Or Sami Zayn will be defending the IC title 3 weeks from now on SmackDown against Bryan in a steel cage match. So he can't get counted out anymore. Don't you think you would be a little bit more interested in tuning into that show instead of not knowing anything that's happening on the show? How do you feel about tuning into a show you don't know what the fuck's on the show? I don't know any television show that doesn't have like a coming attraction for what's happening on the next episode or gives you a teaser about what's happening in the next couple of episodes. Why don't you start doing that and developing interest in the brand? Every single thing, every type of behavioral trait that is exuded by Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard is actively killing the interest in every WWE programming on USA and on Fox. They just don't care. And if they don't care, how are we supposed to care? It is awful. It is an awful, awful, awful mentality. Now, I do have news, and we're going to go over whatever I have as we go on with the show. I have these two Vince McMahon stories. That was number one. Number two, I mentioned how Vince McMahon and Bruce are barely using 20% of their active roster on SmackDown. It feels like they're not utilizing everybody that they drafted over to the brand. I feel like we're seeing the same superstars rinse and repeat every single week, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. And then I come across this gem. Vince McMahon is not booking most superstars with next week in mind. So Vince McMahon can get through this show, and he's not even thinking about next week. He'll start thinking about next week on Friday at 6 p.m. That's his mentality, and that's what's actively killing the show. Now, Ringside News, they usually break several exclusives, and, honestly, they get shit on a lot, but I feel like they've gotten a lot of the news out there that is absolutely newsworthy, more so than anybody else. But they said, and they have learned, that most talents aren't given plans past the current week. This is the reason why so many superstars like Lars Sullivan, for example, will receive a focus and then remain absent on the next episode. A current tenure member of the writing team with knowledge of the company's operations confirmed that most talents aren't even given plans past this week. We were explicitly given an example of Otis and Chad Gable. They're not included in the plans that are discussed past the week. So Otis, he was on SmackDown tonight, but you see no sign of Chad Gable. See no sign of Chad Gable at all. Chad Gable's been with Otis for the last couple of weeks, doing the Alpha regimen or the Alpha program, right? Chad Gable celebrated with Otis when he got, I guess, chosen for the Survivor Series team, saying, we did it, we did it. And then all of a sudden you see Otis coming out and there's no reference or no Chad Gable in sight. It's almost as if I'm reading this report and then I'm thinking back to Chad Gable and Otis. It's almost as if Vince McMahon forgot about Chad Gable, but he did include Otis and didn't realize that Chad Gable was a part of these segments on prior episodes of SmackDown. WWE's stop and start pushes are not intentional, but they are the result of the company not making many plans past the current week. Vince McMahon only has a few certain people that he wants to book. Anyone else on the show is there for that week without an idea in mind for next week. So everything that happened on tonight's show, nobody on that show, maybe Roman Reigns, maybe Paul Heyman, because they're booking their own shit. They're creatively writing their own shit. But Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman excluded. Nobody knows what's happening next week. They won't know what's happening next week until 7 o'clock, 1 hour before they go live on Fox. How is that a great way to run a business? How is that any way to run a business? I could book this show with my fucking eyes closed and make it better than whatever WWE is doing right now. Honestly. This show is a fucking disgrace, and it's led by a disgraceful and embarrassing Vince McMahon on down from him right to Bruce Pritchard. They should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Every single week, the same shit with absolutely no care in the world. It is fucking sad. And I'm sick and tired of seeing the same fucking shit every single week with nobody caring about what's on the show. At all. I usually say do better, but doing better by WWE standards is mediocrity. Okay, thank you guys so very much for joining me here on the show, man. We got 1,300 live in the chat right now on the stream. Hoot Media. Hoot Media, I know you can hear me, Hoot Media. Are we number one in the community tonight? Let me know what is going on in the chat. Again, thank you guys so very much. We got 421 likes. Let's try for that 750 goal tonight on the live stream, guys. And again, super chats are open. And I want to thank Audible for sponsoring the show tonight. audibletrial.com/offthescripts. I see Daryl in the chat. Actually, Daryl, my brother, I know what you've done. I know what you have done to support the show. You and Walter on the Patreon page, bro. You guys are absolutely excluded from anything, bro. You and Walter are getting mugs. You and Walter are getting t-shirts. You and Walter are getting everything in Tier 1 and Tier 2, bro. Do not worry about it. If you're listening to the stream right now, you are getting everything in Tier 1 and Tier 2 on the Patreon page. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. We will be hitting you up. Me and Hoot Media will be hitting you up, asking for your address, bro. Do not worry about any of that right now. So please don't worry about it, man. Hoot Media, let me check. I stopped the chat. Let me see what we got going on. You're number one, man. As always, that's what I like to hear. Hoot Media doing a fabulous job in the chat. SmackDown opened up with Jey Uso. Jey Uso made his entrance. And he said he lost to Daniel Bryan on Sunday, and then his team at SmackDown got swept at Survivor Series. And Jey said everyone is talking about The Undertaker's farewell. But what people should be talking about is how Roman Reigns is represented. He said Drew McIntyre beat Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton, but he couldn't beat his cousin. Then he got excited and called Roman the head of the table and the best of the best. He was interrupted mid-sentence by Roman Reigns, who came out, and he interrupted Jey Uso's promo. Reigns walked out with Paul Heyman. I loved how Paul Heyman took the microphone from Jey Uso and kind of bestowed it to Roman Reigns. He took it out of Jey Uso's hand and nervously gave it to Roman Reigns. I love it. Reigns stared right at Jey Uso. Heyman adjusted his tie, looked over at Reigns. Reigns, as usual, made no eye contact with Paul Heyman. He was just there. And Roman Reigns, obviously the commentary team went over his match with Drew McIntyre. Very good match. Match of the year candidate for WWE, no question. And Reigns took his time in this segment with Jey Uso. He turned to Uso. Uso looked like he was nervous because Reigns was standing there. And Reigns did not give him a smile. Uso was smiling at Reigns, but Reigns did not give Uso a smile. Instead, he said under his breath, the first thing he said was, play. So, play with wood? No, done. Not wood. Not your toothbrush. You're not your toothpick, you fucking geek. He told Roman, or he told Dunn, rather, in the truck, play the promo package, this video package that we got going on right now. They don't fear you because they don't respect you. And if they don't respect you, they don't respect us. If they don't respect us, then who are we? He said if he doesn't think he's the head of the table, he must see him as a whiny bitch begging for leftovers at the Thanksgiving table. He asked what that makes Jey then. He asked Jey if that's how he looks at him. Jey hung his head, and he was very upset by this. Reigns was just angry and said he doesn't like the way his failures are making him feel. He dropped the microphone, glared at Jey from behind, and then left him in the ring to kind of just sit with all of this failure and mistake. And that was pretty much it. It's a situation where Jey is still being portrayed in the family. He's being portrayed as the weakest part of the family. And we have Roman Reigns acting like this to Jey, wanting Jey to succeed. He's leading Jey to a point right now where Jey has to realize he's got to dig down deep to find out who he really is, what it really means to be at the table with Roman Reigns. And Jey is going to go to the lengths to show Reigns how exactly he needs to be. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. This is going to be a new Jey Uso. We're seeing a new Jey Uso every single week. This is all about building the Usos from the ground up. Roman Reigns is putting Jey Uso into these situations to build him up and lead by example. Everybody thinks that Roman doesn't want Jey. Roman wants to disown Jey. He doesn't want Jey sitting at the table. This is the opposite. This is the absolute toughest love that Roman Reigns is showing Jey Uso. And at the end, this is going to be Jey Uso better off for it. And when Jimmy comes back, Jimmy is going to be better off for it because he's going to feed off Jey. They're going to feed off each other. And whatever Roman has done to them, it's going to make Roman look good. We have discussed this. We have discussed this before. This is nothing new for Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and this storyline. This was a very good promo. Roman is even a bigger dick every single week than we said the week before. And I think this is great. Roman just goes to show you again why he is the best thing in WWE and why he is the biggest heel in all of pro wrestling. And what Roman Reigns has going for him to build upon that heel heat is real family tension. You cannot recreate this with anybody else. The reason why Roman Reigns is at the head of the table and the reason why Roman Reigns is the biggest heel in all pro wrestling because he is working with family. You cannot create the sense of realism that Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are doing with fucking pro wrestler A and pro wrestler B. It's not going to be genuine. What we're seeing is genuine interaction, and it's going to help the bloodline in the future. It's great, great, great stuff. The Street Profits versus Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. This was a non-title match, of course. And obviously we were going to get this at some point because these are two of the only teams, these are the two only teams, I should say, on the SmackDown roster. These legitimately are the only two tag teams on SmackDown right now. So outside of this, I don't know where WWE goes from here on out. I really don't. The Street Profits beat the New Day at the Survivor Series. And that was the biggest win of their career. So we were probably all correct when we surmised that the Street Profits, once they get back to SmackDown, they got Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. But I did not think that WWE would go and do something this fucking egregious on SmackDown. Now, I understand the Survivor Series meant nothing. None of those champion versus champion matches meant nothing. I've said it for weeks. I put it in your heads for weeks. But WWE just put the exclamation point on all of that, and they just kind of confirmed what we already knew going into the Survivor Series, that those matches meant nothing. So we get these two teams going at it in a non-title match, and it's WWE's forte. It is their formulaic way to do things on these shows. They have Team A. In this case, it's Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Then they got Team B, the tag team champions. In this case, the Street Profits. And they have Team A go over Team B because they have a pay-per-view coming up. And Team A beats the champions in a non-title match, which then grants them a championship match at a future date. Instead of actually having teams in the division in which you can get wins over and make yourself the number one contender through wins, then get to the tag team championship and have the match happen at the pay-per-view, WWE does things in the ass-backwards, fucking lazy way. I am tired of seeing tag teams. I am tired of seeing champions. Tag team champions, singles champions. I am tired of seeing champions lose in this manner on WWE television. It is fucking tired. It is tired and lazy. And WWE does the same thing on Raw. The absolute same thing on Monday Night Raw. They had the Hurt Business go up against the New Day 3 fucking times in 2 weeks. And the Hurt Business has not gotten one win over the New Day. Yet, I am to believe that the Hurt Business is going to get another tag team title match at the pay-per-view because there are no other teams on Monday Night Raw to challenge the New Day except the Hurt Business. We cannot go on with this tag team division in its current state any longer. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. The Street Profits lost this match. Ford made a comeback. He was being beat up. He got the hot tag to Dawkins. He did some rapid-fire offense against both Roode and Ziggler. Ford landed a frog splash off of the top rope on Roode, but Ziggler broke up the cover. Ford gave Ziggler an enziguri, but Roode then suddenly rolled up Ford for a 3 count. Ford was shocked. We got a roll-up victory, clean, by 2 guys who have not won a fucking tag team match in God knows how long. The New Day lost to the Street Profits at Survivor Series, and that was the biggest win for the Street Profits in their entire career, only for them to come back on Friday and lose to a team that means nothing to anybody in any realm of pro wrestling. How exactly do you want me to look at that as good? How do you want me to look at that and think, man, what a great tag team match. What an exciting tag team match. I can't wait to see the championship match. The Survivor Series meant nothing from the get-go, and you just confirmed that it means nothing, period. You wiped away. What WWE did here was wipe away the Street Profits win over the New Day. And if you think that is not important for the Street Profits, then you don't think the tag team division will ever be important whatsoever. What a fucking disgrace of a creative decision. This is why I shit on the active product every single week. There is no fucking excuses for this level of terrible creative. None! Absolutely none. When someone else wants to praise this shit, I'm gonna tell you, fuck them! Fuck them! Something needs to be done here. Yeah, you want me to take the Street Profits' reign as tag team champions as something legitimate. I can't do that. I can't do that. This is fucking embarrassing. It really is. Against Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Now, we get to look forward to another match between these teams at the pay-per-view. And then what's going to happen? The Profits are going to get their win back. And then after that, who do the Profits defend the titles against? I don't know. There's no other teams in the division. Fucking ridiculous, man. Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan was announced for the show tonight. Non-title match for the IC title. Counterproductive there. Non-title match, IC title, is not on the line. Kayla Braxton interviewed Daniel Bryan backstage about his strategy going into this match with Sami Zayn. Bryan said his strategy is acceptance and zen. Maybe I need that when watching these shows. He said he has to accept that Jey Uso has a devil on his shoulder and he's more vicious and dangerous than ever before. And he's had to accept Sami, who he's known for 15 years. And he is more delusional now than ever before. He said Sami sees himself as a master strategist and an incredible wrestler and the best IC champion ever, but that is just delusional. He said what he actually does is exploit every loophole he can. He said he is there to break his delusions. He said not everybody is out to get Sami. He's out to get his IC championship. He said when he beats him tonight, he will be one step closer. Daniel Bryan is such a good babyface promo, man. He really is. Daniel Bryan's been in the news a lot lately. Now, I know Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan can have a great match. I don't particularly like the way Sami Zayn has been booked on TV lately. But I do think that if it's booked correctly, it could be a very entertaining feud. It is a rehash of what we've seen earlier in the year around WrestleMania time. But I do think that it is about time we start to revisit this because there is unfinished business between these two. But Daniel Bryan's been in the news lately, man. And I got news on Daniel Bryan. First of all, might as well start off with what Daniel Bryan has been doing backstage. Bryan has been going above and beyond to learn the SmackDown creative process. Now, WWE brought Daniel Bryan on as a member of the SmackDown creative team. This is a job that many fear and many do not want because they don't want to work under a demented, senile old fuck, Vince McMahon. Bryan loves the pro wrestling business. We all know that. He loves the young talent and loves guys on that roster that aren't getting an opportunity. He wants to see that they get an opportunity. That's why we've seen the likes of Drew Gulak and Chad Gable and Lindsay Dorado and Gran Metalik and Kalisto, guys like that, get a chance on the roster. Now, Ringside News has exclusively reported several times that Bryan and Edge, they were for the Raw and SmackDown writing teams individually. When they were hired in September, they got placed on the Raw and SmackDown writing teams individually on separate shows. They reported that. Now, Ringside News has learned that Daniel Bryan, as of late, has been going above and beyond to help superstars backstage. He sees talent in the gorilla position to give advice, and he also is learning how things are working backstage on a week-to-week basis. A tenured member of the creative team informed us here at Ringside News that Daniel Bryan is, and I quote, learning the skill set on the headsets, and he's interacting with the talent. He's also listening to Vince McMahon to learn how Vince produces the show. Now, I don't know if that's exactly the right idea. It may be the right idea for now, but the way Vince produces the show is the way that we need to start moving away from. Because it's tired, it's lazy, it's uncreative, and it's formulaic. If there's one thing that both of these shows need, it needs a complete rebranding and a different, fresh look. The Vince McMahon way is not working. The Kevin Dunn way is not working anymore. Daniel Bryan openly stated that this run with the WWE will likely be his final full-time stint with the company. That's not to say that he won't find himself as a vital part of the company's backstage creative process and the future of SmackDown, but he is already making big headway in that regard and receiving a lot of respect in the process. We all know Daniel Bryan loves the business, and that's exactly what this company does not have. I don't think anybody in that company, anybody in the creative role is like a Daniel Bryan. They simply do not love the talent. They simply do not love the business. If they did, we'd see a better show every single week. So as far as I'm concerned, Daniel Bryan's already a step and a half above everybody else because he loves the talent and he loves the business and he sees the guys hungry for an opportunity, guys that have not received an opportunity, and he wants to get them on television. Whether Vince McMahon agrees with that or not and takes Daniel Bryan up on his ideas, that remains to be seen. More than likely not, but that is exactly what this company needs. Someone like Daniel Bryan. So I'm happy to see that someone like that is in that role. Maybe somebody that's respected like that and somebody that's busted his fucking ass and risked his life for Vince McMahon. Maybe Vince McMahon will be a little bit more open to listening to someone like that instead of some fucking creative writer number 14 on the writing staff. So I'm very excited to see what Daniel Bryan does, and he could be a driving force in facilitating change on Friday nights. Highly unlikely until current management is gone, but it's a step in the right direction. That's the type of guy you need back there. Now, Edge, Adam Copeland. It is quite the opposite for Edge on Monday Night Raw, where Daniel Bryan is receiving praise. Edge and his creative performance are drawing criticisms backstage. Now, Edge was actually at the Survivor Series. Edge was supposed to be on Survivor Series in that line of legends that came out for The Undertaker. He did not come out for The Undertaker, and WWE held back Edge's appearance because I think he is set to come back any week now, and they don't want to put him out there after being off TV all these months and have him show back up on television and then re-debut him back after injury. It's going to kind of take away from his reemergence back on WWE television. So they didn't put him out there in the line of legends. And I thank God that didn't happen because none of those guys did anything. They were shown on TV and then they left the ring without saying a goddamn word about The Undertaker. What a complete waste of everybody's time that was, man. What a shit final farewell that was for The Undertaker. But Edge is drawing criticism backstage. Now, like I said, Bryan and Edge got hired in September, and Bryan is receiving praise, and Edge is receiving criticism. Ringside News, on the opposite end, has learned that Edge is not putting forth the same effort as Daniel Bryan on the creative team. We are told at Ringside News that he hasn't shown the dedication, nor has he really given much of an indication that he wants to learn behind the scenes. A tenured member of the writing team has told us, and I quote, "The talent that he's spoken with doesn't improve based on his advice." It was also remarked that Edge doesn't want to do it. End quote. We were also told that Edge has expressed frustration about how late meetings start at times. He doesn't like waiting for Vince McMahon, and that's part of the job when you're on the writing team. We were told a couple of months ago that he was complaining about the time it took to get meetings started, but we didn't run that as a standalone story here on the site. This is new information, and it seems to coincide with the previous information that we were given. As of this writing, Edge is still out with a tricep injury, and there is no date posted for a possible return. Both Edge and Daniel Bryan attend creative meetings via Zoom, just like everybody else nowadays in the business world using Zoom. That's amazing, man. Someone like Edge, one of the greatest of all time, talent he's spoken with does not improve based on his advice. It was also remarked that Edge doesn't want to do it, and he hasn't shown the dedication, and he hasn't given any indication that he wants to learn the behind-the-scenes process. Sounds like everybody else that they got there on the writing team and the management team right now. So get rid of him. If he doesn't want to do it, get the fuck out. What are you doing there? But I guess he kind of fits in like a glove because everybody else is the same way, so they won't notice because he's just fitting right in. How is somebody like Edge and the advice Edge gives not making talent better? That must start at the top. How many people right now are disgusted with what's happening on Monday Night Raw? Maybe they just don't want to learn because they know the show fucking sucks and whatever Edge is telling them is not going to work because Vince McMahon is ultimately running the show anyway. What can someone do to get better if Edge is telling them and they don't have an opportunity to get better? What are they going to do? Edge doesn't have any control over it. Additionally, Edge doesn't want to do it. Edge doesn't have the dedication. Why is that? It's very simple. Edge wants to do what Edge wants to do for Edge's career. Edge has been out for 9 years. Edge wants to come back and do what Edge needs to do to fill in the gaps that have been missing for 9 years. He's only got 3 years to do it. Who knows if he's going to wrestle after this current 3-year deal? He's been hurt most of this first year. So he doesn't give a shit about Ricochet and Ali and a Dijakovic and this one and that one. He doesn't give a shit about them. He wants to worry about what Edge has to do to get better and worry about what Edge is going to do on TV when he returns. So I don't see how this is a big deal. If he's not ready for the position, then why is he in the position to begin with? If he doesn't want to do it, get him the fuck out. We already have a bunch of no-name fucking talentless hacks back there not doing what they need to do to write this fucking show. We don't need an additional one on Bruce's team. Get him the fuck out of there. Get him out of there. If he sucks at the job, get rid of him. Goes for everybody else backstage on Raw and on SmackDown. Speaking of Daniel Bryan, this may be good news for Daniel Bryan, and it's certainly something that was confirmed tonight on SmackDown. Major update on Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan and when WWE plans for it to happen. Now, Roman Reigns is clearly without top contenders for the championship. WWE has refused to build up new stars. They have failed to create new stars, failed to create challenges for Roman Reigns. It is something that they just don't grasp. They don't get it. Now, following Drew McIntyre, people were wondering what's next for Roman Reigns. Is it going to be Daniel Bryan? Is it going to be Kevin Owens? Is it going to be somebody that we don't know? Otis, Baron Corbin, Rey Mysterio. Could be anybody. Could be anybody. We all know that December pay-per-view, that TLC pay-per-view, is nothing more than Roman Reigns feasting at the table. He's feasting on an appetizer. This is only to get Roman Reigns into January to start the new year and start the road to WrestleMania. We all know that this December pay-per-view means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It is just getting Roman Reigns from TLC to the Royal Rumble, okay? Now, Meltzer did not provide any exact details on why WWE is not going with Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns right now, but we expect that this match will now happen at the Royal Rumble. If we were to take a guess, there could be two reasons why they're not doing it at TLC. Bryan takes on Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. That seems likely to happen now after what we've seen tonight. If not, WWE wants to save this between two of their top guys for possibly the Royal Rumble. Not only does it make sense storyline-wise between the two, but it also makes sense from a business point of view as well. What is TLC to anybody? Nothing. The Royal Rumble is their second biggest pay-per-view of the entire year besides WrestleMania. So clearly it is the right thing to do at the Royal Rumble show and not TLC if you're comparing the two. Now, I'll be okay with the Royal Rumble just based on the history of the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. The Royal Rumble event was the downfall of the Roman Empire because of the Yes Movement. Everybody wanted Bryan in 14 and 15. When The Rock raised Roman's hand, they didn't want Roman, they wanted Bryan. So it goes in line with what they are trying to tell for the two in their story. Now, I'll be okay with the Royal Rumble and a match at the Royal Rumble based on that. Still, I'm not in favor of that event. I am actually in favor of WrestleMania. If they can't get Dwayne, if they can't get The Rock at WrestleMania, Bryan versus Roman is the way to go. Sami Zayn's not going to be the Intercontinental Champion going into WrestleMania. There was one idea that I had pitched. Sami being a really, really, really good heel, which he is. He's one of the best heels in WWE, genuine heels in the WWE. But what if Sami Zayn defended the title against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, and you have Kevin Owens built back up as a true babyface, taking that title off of his ex-best friend on TV? And you just give the title back to Kevin Owens in a great back-and-forth match, great back-and-forth feud, with Sami Zayn. Nobody understands Sami Zayn better than Kevin Owens. So that was one of the ideas I pitched. But what if Daniel Bryan goes into this feud with Sami Zayn, wins the IC title, and then drops the title? One of two things could happen. One, drops the title to Jey Uso. And then that enhances the bloodline. That is an idea. Or two, what if Daniel Bryan beats Sami Zayn, wins the IC title, and takes the IC title into the feud with Reigns, and we get the IC title versus the US title. The US title. The Universal, you can tell how fucking tired I am. The Intercontinental title versus the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. I don't see the Intercontinental Champion doing anything at WrestleMania year after year after year anyway. So why not do that? And it would bring more spotlight to the Intercontinental Championship. I think that would be a great way to sell that championship and put it in the spotlight at WrestleMania. So they could definitely do that if they wanted to. But I'm in favor of it happening at WrestleMania and not at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens there. Now, with Jey Uso viciously attacking Bryan after their match 4 weeks ago, WWE pretty much sowed the seeds for Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Then last week, Daniel Bryan returned to the ring and gave Jey Uso a payback. WWE also teased a Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan feud last week. We've seen it again this week. It could only add to the stakes if Bryan wins the IC title and then challenges for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble, or, in my eyes, the better match, the better event at WrestleMania. This would elevate and bring credibility back to the IC title if done the right way. No question about it. So we'll see what happens there. Very interesting stuff coming out of the world of Daniel Bryan, man. We will see what WWE plans to do. Kayla Braxton interviewed Rey Mysterio, Dominic, Aaliyah, and Murphy. Rey said he's proud that Aaliyah has grown into a proud, outspoken woman. He says he's proud that Murphy realized what a piece of garbage Seth Rollins really is. You are no one's disciple, Mysterio said to Murphy. Baron Corbin walked up and said, this is a joke. It's a joke that one win over Seth has them thinking that they're all one big happy family. He told Rey he didn't pass along any of his wrestling skills to his son, so why don't you get on that? He says he's just riding the coattails of Rey's name while it still means something. Now, Dominic has been very impressive in the matches that we've seen this year. I will give him that. But what is Baron Corbin saying here, man? Do you guys think he is legitimately speaking some factual information here? Is Dominic really riding the coattails of his father's name while it still means something? Let me know down in the comments. Sound off in the comments below. I'm not interested in any feud between Baron Corbin and the Mysterio family. You move on from one feud that nobody gave a shit about because it overstayed its welcome, and now we are getting Baron Corbin, who has pretty much overstayed his welcome on WWE television, which is now going on 2 years and counting. Probably since he's made his main roster debut. I don't see how that's good television, folks. Very, very bizarre. We've seen another Undertaker vignette celebrating The Undertaker, the final farewell of The Undertaker. Folks, am I crazy when I say that I feel like The Undertaker's vignettes here with Metallica playing in the background is it crazy of me to say, am I the only one that thinks The Undertaker's vignettes here, these video packages that they've been playing, were actually better than the final farewell at Survivor Series? I know I'm not the only one. I posed that in a tweet on social media tonight. I do think that everything WWE is doing via these video packages was better than the actual final farewell. I thought the final farewell, and I talk about this on tomorrow's show, I thought the final farewell was fucking terrible. Outside of the 3D holographic image of Paul Bearer. I love that because I love the act, and The Undertaker's my number one of all time. No matter what they do for this guy, he will always be number one. No matter how lame that final farewell was, he's always going to be number one to me. So many memories. I go over it on tomorrow's show. But I feel like the final farewell was an absolute waste of everybody's time, man. They brought out all these legends. Not one of them said a goddamn fucking thing. The introduction of all the legends actually extended the pay-per-view by 20 fucking minutes. I don't know why anybody thought that was a good thing. They didn't say anything. They were there. Vince McMahon came out. They suddenly disappeared. Nobody said anything. The Undertaker then came out, said about fucking 1 minute, 2 minutes tops of a promo, and then goodbye. Final farewell. It almost seemed like they rushed through it and they didn't give enough thought to it at all. I don't even think it was a final farewell period. I do think he will be back. You know, everybody's like, oh, he's good. Goodbye. Haven't we seen WWE milk enough of this cash cow? The Undertaker legitimately has been everywhere. Cameo, Snoop Dogg, interview here, interview there, Sports Illustrated, CBS, ESPN. Give me a break. T-shirts, memorabilia now, 30-year anniversary memorabilia on WWE Shop. They are milking this shit dry. I get it. It's a business. But that doesn't make it important. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown adult. The more I see it, the less I care. And I didn't give a shit about that final farewell at all. I didn't. Because, and you can't blame me for this, WWE has clickbaited you. They have bait and switched you time and time again. How many times does The Undertaker come back and then retire? Come back and retire. Come back and retire. I can't stand it. I give this guy 6 months. He will be either at WrestleMania or at some Saudi show in 2021, and he will be on one of those shows with Michael Cole saying, one more time! Making everything else irrelevant that happened before. You know it's going to happen. You know it is going to happen, folks. I don't get it. Check the chat here, man. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. We got 547 likes in the chat. Let's get that up to 750, man. Super chats are open, so make sure you guys get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. We got Sami Zayn, middle of the ring. There's one thing I could really love about SmackDown. It is a good Sami Zayn promo. Sami Zayn was middle of the ring, complaining about Thanksgiving, about how he doesn't respect Thanksgiving, which celebrates the atrocities against the Native American people and the gluttonous masses stuffing their faces with poor, defenseless factory farm turkeys. He said that's not for him. He said Bryan is the only one who should be thankful. He said Mr. Nice Guy, after a month of scheming, is getting the match he wants. He mocked Bryan for saying if he were IC champion, he would defend the title more often every single week like a champion should. He said he beat Sami Zayn, or he beat Daniel Bryan, rather, at WrestleMania. And since he's done nothing to deserve the championship, he said WWE management is trying to sabotage him. There's a conspiracy against Sami Zayn, apparently. So we got Daniel Bryan coming on out, interrupting Sami Zayn's promo. We get the non-title match happening tonight. This was decent. These guys, there is no way. It is absolutely incapable. These guys are absolutely incapable of delivering a bad match. This was very good, okay? So, what had happened here is Sami Zayn is really trying to play this chicken shit, I'm going to keep this title by any means necessary type of attitude, okay? So, Bryan countered Sami and a back suplex into a cross arm breaker. He transitioned into a yes lock. Sami rolled to the floor. Bryan dove through the ropes, tackled Sami onto the announce desk. Bryan then threw Sami into the ring. Sami, like the heel, the smart heel, rolled out of the ring on the opposite side. Bryan dove onto Sami Zayn on the opposite side of the ring. Sami tried to then run up the ramp. Bryan caught up with him, but Sami broke free and ran into Gorilla. Bryan chased after him. Then, all of a sudden, Sami ran back to the ring because Daniel Bryan was attacked, where Jey Uso was backstage waiting for Bryan, and obviously you guys know why, but Sami Zayn ran to the back because Jey Uso had gotten his hands on Daniel Bryan when he went to go chase after Sami Zayn in the back. Kevin Owens made the save. Jey left and yelled, "You know where I'll be, KO." And then Owens told the referee to make sure Bryan is okay as he went to go chase after Jey Uso for attacking Daniel Bryan. I didn't mind this so much, but are they really going to play up the fact that Sami Zayn is this chicken shit of a heel? Listen, I love it. But you got to give him some wins as that Intercontinental Champion. You got to give him some legitimate wins. You really do. You can't have him win by countout. It's not making Sami Zayn look good. The character is great. The heel run is great. But it's not really bringing legitimacy to the IC title. It's not. It's not. All it's doing is foreshadowing that he's losing that championship, and it's going right back to the guy that's going to bring prestige back to that championship. So Sami Zayn, in my eyes, deserves better. It's not really making him look good by the current way of creative, and it's not making the IC title look good. But this accentuates the Jey Uso, Daniel Bryan back and forth. This gets Kevin Owens involved now because he's friends with Daniel Bryan. And now he's obviously got a common enemy here in Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. So we could be seeing some good back and forth here. Some good television between KO, Bryan, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns. This has the makings of really, really good stuff. I didn't mind the ending because of what I'm thinking about in the future. But as far as Sami Zayn goes, I don't think it's doing anything good for that IC title. That is just my opinion. But good match between the two, and Sami wins via countout. He wins in about 13 minutes. Natalya versus Bianca Belair. Belair wins in about 3 minutes. This was pretty much academic. I mean, Natalya is not going to stand the chance against Bianca Belair. Belair came to the ring. She was doing what she usually does. All of a sudden, Bayley's music hit, and she joined Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary. Cole noted that Peyton Royce pinned her and eliminated her at the Survivor Series. Bayley offered to wrestle Michael Cole. I would pay good pay-per-view money to see that actually happen. I would love to see Bayley put Michael Cole in a submission hold, give him a Bayley to belly, and then deliver a Macho Man elbow drop off the top rope onto Michael Cole, and then they'll call me up and have me take his position on commentary. I think that would be fantastic. So, Michael Cole obviously said he has no interest. Belair beat Natalya with I believe it was a roll-up. I was going to say it was the KOD, but I don't think that would really be good for Natalya. I mean, who gives a shit? But Bayley climbed into the ring after there was a little back and forth at the commentary table. So Belair went after Natalya at ringside. Bayley stood and told her to be careful she doesn't get counted out again like she did at the Survivor Series. Ha ha ha. Belair punched Bayley. Natalya hit Belair from behind. Bayley then climbed into the ring, or climbed onto the apron to try and get some revenge for Bianca punching her at the commentary table. Belair powered out of a Natalya sharpshooter, and then she got sent into Bayley, and Belair rolled up Natalya for a 3 count. Bayley talked trash to Belair from ringside, and Belair wins in about 3 minutes. We are looking forward to Bayley versus Bianca in the women's division, and it's going to be magnificent. I think the matches that those two are going to deliver are going to be fucking awesome. Absolutely awesome. Backstage, Jey Uso was telling Reigns about what he did. He told him to trust him. Owens told Reigns, he comes in. He told Reigns that he's had it with his family and it's affecting everyone else. He says he's getting into Jay's head. He said someone who claims family is so important, he sure treats his family like trash. He turned and left. Reigns turned to Jey and told him to understand that he takes pride in how his sons look at him. He said KO doesn't look at him with fear. I want you to go and fix that. I like it. I absolutely like it, man. Roman is making Jey into a killer. This is good shit. Moving on here, man. We got Adam Pearce, who is the GM of SmackDown and Raw. They don't want you to know that, though. Because, I mean, who makes matches on these shows but a GM? They won't give you an appropriate title for Adam Pearce, but that's exactly what he is. He was on this show, and he was shown chatting with Paul Heyman backstage. And clearly this was about tonight's main event. We just didn't know it then. Baron Corbin versus Buddy Murphy. I don't have any interest in this whatsoever. Buddy Murphy is with the Mysterio family. He came out with Ray, Dominic, and Aaliyah. Baron Corbin loses this in 4 minutes. And the Mysterios used heel tactics to beat Baron Corbin. So we got this happening here. Murphy sent Corbin headfirst into the ring steps. Back in the ring, Corbin ducked a move off the top rope by Buddy Murphy. I don't know what he was going for. Crossbody, possibly. He moved out of the way. Corbin delivered a deep six to Buddy Murphy. Rey Mysterio entered the ring. The referee told him to get out. Corbin yelled because Rey was interfering in the match. And we had Corey Graves yelling, well, Baron Corbin could have probably pinned Buddy Murphy off the deep six. Rey Mysterio's costing Baron Corbin the match. Kind of adding to the heel tactics of the Mysterio family here. So Dominic grabbed Corbin's legs as he ran the ropes. Corbin turned to yell at him. Murphy then gave Corbin a high knee and covered him. Corbin put his leg on the bottom rope. Dominic shoved it off. The referee counted 3, and everybody wondered why the Mysterio family was going to these lengths to beat Baron Corbin. So Baron Corbin got on the microphone and yelled on the microphone how outrageous this was. He said it was a 4-on-1, and they're all a bunch of weak, spineless cowards. He demanded a rematch against Murphy next week, and he said he will be coming prepared. I don't know what that means, but my God, I'm not interested in this whatsoever. What the fuck was this? This just reeked of last-minute rewrite. This reeked of just late addition onto SmackDown. I mean, I don't know how Buddy Murphy is looking in this entire situation here. He beat Rollins clean. And then he comes right back and has to beat Baron Corbin because Rey Mysterio offered help. Aaliyah offered help. Dominic offered help. And then he gets a cheap victory over Baron Corbin after he just got the biggest win of his career over Seth Rollins. How does this make Buddy Murphy look legitimate in the end? That he needed to cheat. The babyface needed to cheat to win. I am so fucking confused by all of this that I am just sick and tired of it. I am completely over it. They need to keep the Mysterio family off of television, man. They are not good television anymore. They have overstayed their fucking welcome with this Seth Rollins storyline that has been going on for about a year now. Every single month this year, Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins have been linked in some way, shape, or form. Now we got Buddy Murphy. Where are they going with this Buddy Murphy thing? Is Buddy Murphy going to turn on the Mysterio family? That's the way all these things end up anyway. Are we going to see a marriage between Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy? Why would Mysterio bring in Buddy Murphy and give Buddy Murphy a spot on the family, only for Buddy Murphy to turn on the Mysterio family? For what reason? What is the agenda? What is the narrative there for Buddy Murphy to turn eventually on the Mysterio family? If that is the way they're going to go. And if you're not going to book Buddy Murphy strong by pairing him with Rey Mysterio, I don't really know what you're doing here. This cannot be the top of the list as far as creative goes for the Mysterio family. I've given you gold with the Mysterio family. I have given you fucking a gold mine with the Mysterio family. Why isn't Dominic and Rey down in NXT feuding with Santos Escobar over the Cruiserweight Championship? If there's one championship in the history of Rey Mysterio's career that he made famous, it's the Cruiserweight Championship. Why isn't his son going after Santos Escobar? What is Santos Escobar doing in NXT? Absolutely nothing. His value has fallen flat on NXT. You could do Dominic versus Santos Escobar. In fact, I'd make Santos Escobar floating fucking champion. There are a ton of guys on that roster that would have great feuds over the Cruiserweight Championship and Santos Escobar. Dominic is one of them. Have him down in NXT, feud over the Cruiserweight Championship, bring some spotlight back to that championship. That is something I'd welcome on NXT, especially with the message of Santos Escobar and him wanting to rebrand the face of Luchador. It's just bizarre to me how nobody can think of shit like this and I can come up with this type of shit off the top of my head. Or better yet, we got no tag teams in WWE. None. Absolutely none. Why are we not pairing, now that they're finished with Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins, why are we not getting Rey Mysterio teaming with Dominic to go after the tag team titles? If they had some competition in that division, I would not complain as much as I do about tag team wrestling. Why are we not getting Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio challenging for the tag team titles, going into the tag team division and getting some wins as a father and son combination? That is a much better idea than putting them in whatever the fuck they got going on now with Baron Corbin. I don't really understand where this is going. And the fact that we have to see this match this week and then we have to see it again next week, that's not really the type of hype or long-term vision that I was talking about. I don't know how that is going to get anyone to watch next week's SmackDown episode. Big E was backstage. They were playing basketball by tossing paper into a trash can backstage. Apparently, Apollo Crews had just finished a empanada that Titus O'Neil had perfectly baked backstage, man. So he threw the wrapper and he was playing basketball with the wrapper with Big E, and then he shot a jump shot he missed. I know, I got the backstage scoop, folks. I got the backstage scoop. So Sami walked up to them and he talked about how he was getting ready to talk to Caleb Braxton about his win over the future Hall of Famer Daniel Bryan. He said he beat Bryan in 10 seconds instead of the usual 3. He taunted Apollo Crews and said, that's funny, Crews. I beat you in 10 seconds just a couple of weeks back. Big E told Sami that he has no foundation to the house that he's built. He said his margin for error is razor thin. He said Sami knows it's true. He said one flick or one gust of wind will knock down his house of cards. Sami said he's disappointed in Big E because he's trying to diminish him just like everyone else. He said it comes across as sour grapes. He said he's in the midst of a historic IC title reign, whereas Big E's last reign was many years ago and was very forgettable. He told Big E that he should be applauding him. Big E then applauded him, and Sami asked if that was so hard. Big E shook his hand and squeezed his hand for about 10 seconds as Sami just winced in pain. And then Big E left. Caleb Braxton said, Sami, we're going to do this interview. And then Sami said, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Interview is over. Seems like WWE potentially could be setting up Big E. It's also feud with Sami Zayn over the Intercontinental Championship, which kind of makes it a little bit more unpredictable. Doesn't mean Bryan is going to take the title off of Sami. Or is Bryan going to get screwed by the Roman Empire and not grab the Intercontinental Championship, but rather they save it for Big E and have Big E take it off of Sami Zayn? I don't know. But the fact that Sami Zayn has alluded to Big E's IC title reign being forgetful or forgettable, and Big E mentioned the IC title here about Sami Zayn's legacy being a house of cards that could go down like that, could be a glimpse into the future about what WWE does with Big E, and we could be seeing Big E versus Sami Zayn for the IC title. Billie Kay came over to Michael Cole and Corey Graves, gave them both pictures. She said that she'd be more happy to take over the announcing from here on out. Then you got geeks on social media praising Billie Kay for her comedic timing. I'm still failing to see what is so great about Billie Kay. What am I not seeing that everybody else is seeing, folks? I would love somebody to fill me in. I just don't see it. I think this is a waste of television time. And Billie Kay is a terrible pro wrestler. If you want her to do something on television like all these fucking geeks on social media want her to do, give her a managerial role. If she's such a good talker and has good comedic timing, give her a managerial role. I think I'd be okay with that, barely. Carmela was backstage. She talked about taking out Sasha Banks very easily. Not sure if you guys realized on social media, I know all the marks out there are, oh my God, what did she do? She changed her name on Twitter to Mercedes Vernado instead of Sasha Banks. It's got all the marks talking on social media. Listen, bro, she's hyping up The Mandalorian. It's not that big of a deal. She's proud of her work in The Mandalorian. Let her have her moment. Talking about Sasha Banks was Carmela. She said everyone is about to find out who the most dominant woman on SmackDown is. Let me tell you something, honey. It ain't you, Carmela. It is not you. She said she used to like Sasha Banks, doing things for the fans and bending to their will and losing herself. She said now she's calling her shots and giving the orders, and everyone else will jump for her. She snapped her finger. Usually she has a glass of champagne handed to her. Nobody brought her champagne. She snapped her fingers again, and then in comes the glass of champagne, but it's a hand that is wearing the boss insignia knuckles that Sasha Banks has on WWE Shop. So clearly it was Sasha Banks. I will say this, man. I loved the visual of the hand with the Banks knuckles coming into frame, handing Carmela the glass of champagne. I would not be surprised if this was either a Sasha Banks idea or a Mikaze idea. I thought that visual looked great. That's just me, though. Now, the feud, I really can't say too much about. And to be quite honest with you, WWE might not have a choice in the matter because there really isn't anything for Sasha to do after she beat Bayley. There isn't anything for her to do on SmackDown. I mean, if you're going to put a fucking gun to my head, Lacey Evans, Tamina, Carmela, right? Natalya. Out of those women, Billie Kay, who are you going to take to put up against Sasha Banks? It might be process of elimination is the winner here, Carmela. And then Bayley's going to drop to Bianca, and then we're going to get Bianca versus Sasha, which everybody's looking forward to. But Sasha and Bianca can't happen too fast. It can't happen too soon. You got to do it when it's right. I do not do it at the Royal Rumble. I do it at WrestleMania. I have Bianca win the Royal Rumble, or maybe they do Bayley versus Sasha at WrestleMania. Maybe they do Bianca and Sasha at the Royal Rumble, and Bayley wins the Royal Rumble, and we get Bayley versus Sasha 3. Not counting the NXT match. 3 at WrestleMania. Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But right now, it's Sasha versus Carmela because there is nobody else in that women's division. Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso was the main event, and this went 10 minutes. Kevin Owens wins by disqualification. KO landed a senton on Jey at ringside, threw him into the ring, got a near fall. They went back to Reigns, who was watching backstage on a monitor. Heyman was there watching with Reigns. Uso made a comeback. He took Kevin Owens' arm and yanked it over the top rope. Then he controlled the match for a little bit. So we got Uso charging at Kevin Owens in the corner. Kevin Owens moved. Kevin Owens continued to sell the arm during the match. KO chopped at Uso's chest. He went up for a pop-up powerbomb, but the arm gave out, so that's the story. Jey then delivered a super kick to the chin, got a 2 count on KO. Jey headbutted KO's injured arm, went for a top rope splash. Kevin Owens got the knees up, and then he dropped his head over his knee for a 2 count. So we go to the end of the match here. Jey reached under the ring and pulled out a chair. He bashed KO with it, and he was disqualified because he needs to show that killer instinct that Reigns wants to see from him. So Jey swung the chair at Kevin Owens after the match. Kevin Owens blocked it. By the way, I completely forgot to mention, and now I'm talking about the steel chair. There was a brutal attack in the beginning of the show where Jey Uso was just so upset about what had happened with Roman Reigns in the beginning of the show in that promo. Otis was supposed to come out and wrestle Baron Corbin. I completely forgot to mention this. This was one of the best parts of the night. Otis came down to the ring. He was supposed to wrestle Baron Corbin, and Jey Uso was so distraught over what Roman Reigns told him that he took a steel chair and absolutely demolished Otis. This was a fantastic attack on Otis. And then the steel chair was brought out again by Uso in this match with Kevin Owens, and he used it on Kevin Owens again, and he got himself disqualified. So Kevin Owens blocked it. He delivered a stunner to Jey Uso. Jey rolled to the floor. He was writhing in pain. Kevin Owens threw him onto the announce desk. Kevin Owens bashed Uso with a chair across the back. Kevin Owens called out Reigns. He looked into the camera and said, Reigns wants people to fear him, but he fears no one. He bashed Jey several more times with the chair. He turned back to the camera and he said, including you. So Kevin Owens does not fear anyone, including Roman Reigns. Roman's then became angry backstage. He was watching with this menacing grin on his face. Roman, you've got a problem with me. Come say it to my face. He stood on the announce desk and told Roman to come get him out there by ringside. I'm sitting at the head of the table, says Kevin Owens. He then re-entered the ring, gave Jey another stunner. Reigns did not move from the monitor. He did not come out to save Jey Uso. Kevin Owens sat at the announce table and again said, I'm sitting at the head of the table. Where are you, Roman? Where are you? And the show ended with Reigns looking at Kevin Owens on the TV screen, and Kevin Owens says he would be waiting for him. So it looks like we got our TLC Universal title match all set, which is nothing more than getting Roman Reigns from point A to point B, A being TLC and B being the Royal Rumble. But WWE has failed to build legitimate stars. Kevin Owens should be, first of all, Kevin Owens, is he a worthy enough challenger for the Universal Championship? No, he's not. He's done nothing on television but be a glorified talk show host, okay? But Kevin Owens should be somebody that really stands out as being legitimate. A legitimate threat to possibly take the championship from Roman Reigns. What we got here is a respectable name on the WWE roster that everybody wants to see get an opportunity to be more than what he is. And all WWE is doing is taking that respectable name and putting him in a match that we all know he's not going to win. Now, I mentioned this with Jesse on Wednesday. Jon Moxley went against Eddie Kingston. Okay? We all knew Jon Moxley was not going to lose that title to Eddie Kingston. But what they did was take a predictable match and sell it the way that they did and really give you an emotional investment into you not even thinking about the predictability of the outcome. That is a very difficult thing to do. Will Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens do that same thing? I don't know. I don't think they will. Do they have the capability to do so? Absolutely. These guys have a history together. This is not their first dance together. But do I think that they are going to be able to do what Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston did and take that predictability factor and give you that emotional investment to a point where you're not thinking about how predictable this match is? I don't think so. This is WWE. This is not AEW. This is not Jon Moxley. This is not Eddie Kingston. That's just another breed of animal there. But Kevin Owens should be in a situation where he is much better off not being put in a position to just be an appetizer for Roman Reigns to get him from TLC to the Royal Rumble, because we all know Roman Reigns is going into WrestleMania as the Universal Champion. That's what I have a problem with. All this does is expose the fact that WWE has not built up any new stars. Kevin Owens does not feel legit. Kevin Owens has not been built up to this point to get him in a Universal Championship match. It is so formulaic. It is so desperate. It is so weak. You might look at, oh man, this is a great match. I can't wait to see it. All I look at is Kevin Owens is just there because simply there is nobody else. Who else is there? There legitimately is nobody else on that SmackDown roster to even put in that position. Rey Mysterio? I don't know what the fuck they got him doing. It could be a Rey Mysterio, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing with him or Dominic. Otis? Otis hasn't been good since before Money in the Bank. Everybody loved Otis. Now Otis is a non-entity. There's nobody else on this show. Kevin Owens is only there because there is nobody else. And that is a sad position for someone to be in. So let me know what you guys think about that. I am done with the review portion of the show, man. If you guys enjoyed the show, let me know. Sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you agreed with, what you did not agree with. If you guys have come for the review and you want to head on out of here, I'll see you tomorrow on Off the Script. 5 p.m., episode 353. We got major, possible Royal Rumble news. And it's not news you're going to be happy about at all. In fact, it's quite embarrassing. There's your little hype for tomorrow's show, man. But if you guys want to hang out, we're going to take some Super Chats. Super Chats are open. I'd love to have you if you want to stick around. If not, I'll see you tomorrow for for Off the Script, episode 353. That was a damn good review, wasn't it? Yeah, I know. Again, guys, if you want the Off the Script baseball mugs, man, annual subscriptions to the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys want to go and check out Mouthmasker, 50% off masks, mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go and get your black Off the Script masks. Originally $20, now they're $10 for Black Friday, man. Hit that up. Check out Audible, audibletrial.com/off the script. Go and get your 30 days free. And you're going to get one free audiobook of your choice. And check out my Instagram post, man. And some belts and buckles. Sponsoring the podcast for Black Friday. We're giving away a $200 box set of customized belts and buckles to one lucky listener of Off the Script. All you got to do is go to the Instagram post right now. It's my most recent post on IG. Like the post. Comment on the post. Follow Ansem Belts and Buckles. And then you will be chosen randomly, hopefully, on Monday. And you might win this great prize, man. So, giveaways coming. It's not the only giveaway I got planned, man. We got some really, really great shit coming up. And I'm happy you guys are on board with what I'm doing here, man. Let's check these super chats. We got Vicky becoming a new member tonight. Thank you, Vicky, for becoming a member of Team JD. Jacob Donnelly, my brother, $10 super chat. I think the Mysterio family on TV has been one of the worst aspects of WWE in 2020. Every time I see them, I groan, and I don't understand why Dominic isn't developing in NXT when he should be, in my honest opinion. Told you, brother. Dominic versus Santos Escobar is the way to go. I don't know why it has not been explored yet. Bradley Robinette, $2 super chat. The Phenom is not done. Shut up, WWE. You are correct, Bradley. He's not done at all. If anybody thinks he's done, you're a complete buffoon. Toan Ho with a $4.99 super chat. MJF is the best heel in AEW. I agree. He's not the best heel in wrestling yet. That belongs to Rome. MJF is the best heel in AEW, and he must fight against Kenny Omega. Have they fought against each other before? If not, AEW must book that match. No, they do not. When Kenny Omega wins the title, he will be a heel. MJF is a heel. That match does not make sense. Kenny Omega will have his list of opponents, and his final boss will be Adam Hangman Page. AEW, if they want MJF in the world title hunt, I do think they will revisit that first time Page and MJF went one-on-one. Be patient. Tony Khan knows what he's doing. Your boy Chris with a $4.99 super chat. What's up, JD? If MJF is watching, just know that this is the #1 podcast in the IWC. Congrats on the partnership with Twitch, and I will sub to the Patreon. Annual subscription. I gotta let you guys know, man, because there are a bunch of goons out there that don't read. Thank you on the Twitch partnership, man. I will be there live Sunday, I think. And if MJF is watching, we are big MJF supporters, man. Team Forward, $2 super chat. Trash. Mysterio's acted like heels, yet are baby faces. Well, that's Bruce. I don't get it. Bruce just doesn't get it. Hitari, 2600 with a $5 super chat. He doesn't say anything. And then he comes and donates another 10. After hearing the song you use for your off-the-script intro, I found some pretty awesome songs you could use for the reviews. I could message them on Discord to you with your permission. Not everything is YouTube friendly, brother. Some songs may get me hit with a copyright, and then I make no money. on the reviews. That's not something I want to visit. I have to see if they are YouTube friendly or not. The ones I use for the super chats and the ones I use in the beginning of the show, Pilot, they're all user friendly. We got Paul Van Tassel becoming a new member and then with a $1 super chat. Paul, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. Ulysses with a $5 super chat. Am I a goon if I legit want a Roman Reigns t-shirt? Didn't think that feeling would ever happen, but it's 2020, things are different. No, you are not a goon. Roman Reigns is the best thing on WWE television. Justin with a $4.99 super chat. Hey, JD, keep up the good work. Also, I'm going to sign up annually for the $10 pledge on Tuesdays to support you and get the shirt, but mainly to support you. Justin, you're a fucking beast, bro. Thank you so much, man. Love hearing it. Laura Conway with a $2.99 super chat. Thank you, Laura. Did I see my brother in the chat here? I thought I seen Legionary here. No? I might be seeing things. Oh, no. Jada. And not Legendary or Condition Critical. Condition Critical is not even YouTube friendly, man. They're signed to a record label. They're signed to a record label. I wish I could use Condition Critical, man. I love them. And that's my brother's guitarist, Tony. I tried using it, and then I got nailed with a copyright. And then I try to fight it, saying, I know Tony. He's giving me permission to use the fucking songs. And then the copyright, I got to wait 30 days for it to go to appeal, and then they don't appeal it. They don't say anything to me. Your boy Chris with another $4.99 super chat. What if Jimmy Uso falls in line with Roman and Jey? The Usos are together again, and we get the Street Profits versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. That will probably be the way that they go. But we got to get Jimmy back on television. Nobody knows when he's coming back. We'll see what happens. Little Willie with a $4.99 super chat. Hey, JD, huge fan of you, brother. I haven't watched WWE in a while. Have I missed much? Probably not. Bro, you haven't missed a goddamn fucking thing. All you need is me, man. Listen to me weekly. You will get legitimately everything you need. There's no reason to watch the show. I cannot even begin to tell you how many people come to me every single week and say, JD, I don't even watch the shows anymore. I just watch you, or I watch somebody else in the community. I don't know why you're watching anybody else. You should be watching me, but I get your point. Nobody's watching these shows anymore. They would rather watch me at 2 hours here, entertain, than watch and be bored on SmackDown or Raw. Handle with a $4.99 super chat. WWE really needs to capitalize on Dominic's size. He's 6'1". He can be a powerhouse and utilize his lucha libre style. Dominic needs to be in NXT. Or get Santos Escobar up to SmackDown. It's just money waiting to be printed with that feud, with that match, with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. It's just money. It's just money. Stu Sexton, $5 super chat. What's up, brother? Awesome review, showing support for the show. We'll be signing up for the Patreon as soon as I'm able to. Thanks for the work you are doing. Thank you, Stu. I appreciate you, brother. I love that Atlanta Braves icon you got for your YouTube picture, man. We just signed, what's his name? Morton? Who did the Braves just sign recently? Let me see. Charlie Morton, I think his name is, from Tampa Bay. Yeah, they just signed Charlie Morton. I don't know how good he is. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? The Braves and Rangers trade could give Atlanta perfect replacement for Marcell Ozuna. What happened to Ozuna? What happened to Ozuna, man? The Braves may be looking to get Joey Gallo. What happened to Ozuna? They lost him already? Or he's decided he's not going to sign? Man, that sucks. Man, that fucking sucks, dude. Man, Ozuna was my favorite part of the team this year, dude. I guess if they bring Joey Gallo over, man, it's being talked about. This site is saying the Braves would get Joey Gallo. They'd have to give up Tucker Davidson and Tyrone Harris. I don't know, man. If the Rangers make Gallo available. The Braves are in a good position to get him. But what happened to Ozuna? I don't understand what happened to Ozuna. Maybe he wants to go to the AL. I have no idea. Anyway, moving on. Edgar Estrada! What is going on, man? Stu, did they lose Ozuna already? Did the Braves lose Ozuna already, dude? Someone let me know. I haven't been keeping up on the offseason. Edgar, what's up, Beast? J freaking D, bro. Just love listening to you on these reviews. Amazing breakdown of whatever the show was. NXT question. Ozuna might be asking too much, probably. Who's in the War Games match? Have a great weekend. Love you, bro. OTS for life. The men's match is Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, Pete Dunne, and Pat McAfee. And then the women's matches are captained by Candice LeRae and Shotzi Blackheart. I think Candice has Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, and Toni Storm. Toni Storm turned heel on Wednesday. I thought that was a great decision. That's going to make her a little bit more star power, or give her a little bit more star power as she challenges Io eventually, because Io is not losing that title anytime soon. But as far as Shotzi goes, I think Shotzi is right now in a position where she doesn't have anybody chosen. I think Shotzi is going to choose Io. I think Shotzi is going to choose Ember. And that fourth one is a mystery. It might be Rhea Ripley. I am not sure. And that might be Rhea Ripley's final send-off, because she's got feuds with Candice and Io, so it kind of makes sense. And J Mac the Fanatic, $2 super chat. By the way, thank you so much, Edgar. Dom Murphy team with Aaliyah, manager, and Ray just leaves for now. Possibly. I don't know. That's a good solution there, bro. But, I mean, do you really give a shit? I know I don't. Guys, I am getting out of here, man. Thank you for all the love in the super chats. Thank you for the love tonight on the live stream. Hit that thumbs up, man. We got 664 likes. Let's try for that 750 before we get out of here, man. I know there are some geeks in the chat that have not hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up, bro. Annual subscription. Go and sign up, man. These are fucking beautiful. You're going to want them. I can't wait to drink my beverages out of here, man. Patreon.com/ShadyFromNY206. Visit the IG page for the Ansem belts and buckles giveaway. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. 10%, or not, actually 50% off masks. Now, $10 down from $20 for Black Friday. And go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel, man. You guys know me. I'm looking at the Mustang right now, right outside my window. I'm getting in the Mustang. I'm turning that volume up to max. I'm grabbing my cold beverage. Let me see those guitar emojis in the chat. We got that guitar solo and pilot coming on up, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 p.m. for Off the Script, episode 353. See you guys then.